Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling something really quite puzzling in workers' compensation. We seem to be seeing fewer injuries overall, yet the claims themselves are getting much more expensive and, well, they're taking longer to sort out. How does that work? We're going to dive deep into a report from Healthy Systems called Common Exceptions, the rising incidence of complex claims in workers' compensation. Our mission really is to get under the hood and understand why this is happening.
It's a huge challenge, you're right. And the industry definitely feels it. Over half the stakeholders surveyed see these complex claims as a major problem.
And complexity here means cost and time, basically.
Exactly. It's defined by both how much a claim costs and how long it stays open. And the numbers are, frankly, quite striking. Even though claim frequency actually dropped by 5% in 2024, the severity, meaning both medical costs and indemnity, lost wages that shot up by 6%.
Wow. So down 5% frequency, up 6% severity.
Precisely. And get this, the average number of lost workdays per injury, it's climbed to 80 days.
80 days. That's
Yeah.
significant.
It is. So fewer claims, but the ones we have are packing a bigger punch, costing more, and keeping people out of work longer.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Because, it's easy to think this is all about those mega claims, the multi-million-dollar ones you read about.
Right, the catastrophic ones.
Yeah, but it sounds like that's not the whole story. There's this WCRI study you mentioned, nearly 750,000 claims.
Yes, and it found something really interesting. Just the top 5% of claims, and these are ones with 7 or more days of lost time, they accounted for 28% of all the costs.
Just 5% driving almost a third of the costs.
Exactly. And for that top 5%, the average medical cost was around $100,000. That's more than 7 times higher than the other claims.
7 times.
And the time off work, the disability duration, 64 weeks on average for that group compared to just 18 weeks for the rest.
Okay, 64 weeks versus 18. So what is it about these specific claims? What factors are making them so much more, complex and costly?
Well, it's not just one thing. That's the key takeaway. It's usually a combination of factors, often kind of feeding into each other.
Like a domino effect.
Sort of, yeah. And understanding how they connect is crucial if we want to actually, manage these risks better. Okay, first off, timing. When does treatment start? This is huge.
Yeah.
The data shows that if an injured worker had to wait 30 days or more just to get physical therapy,
Just the month's wait.
just a month, their average medical costs were 24 to 28% higher, and their temporary disability time, that jumped by 58 to 69% higher compared to people who got PT within a week.
Wow. Okay, so delaying care has a massive knock-on effect, not just on cost, but on recovery time itself. What else is layering on complexity?
Right. Well, another big one is comorbidities. These are other health conditions the worker might already have, like diabetes, heart disease, obesity.
Things separate from the workplace injury itself.
Exactly. And they're a major concern. About 63% of industry professionals actually called them the #1 barrier to recovery. WCRI found comorbidities increase the chance of a claim becoming complex by about a third, 33%.
Okay, so existing health issues significantly complicate things.
They do. And then you layer on mental health conditions. NCCI found that claims involving mental health, think PTSD, anxiety, depression linked to the injury, are 2.5 times more costly.
2.5 times. That really changes the game for those claims.
It absolutely does. It affects treatment, duration, everything. Then you have issues sort of outside the patient's direct health, like out-of-network care.
So where they get treated matters too.
Definitely. One Texas study showed lost time claims treated out-of-network cost, on average, about $1,800 more than those treated in-network. But it's not just the money. The return-to-work rate was much better in-network, 93% versus 84% out-of-network. Patient satisfaction was higher, too.
So better outcomes and lower costs, generally with in-network providers.
Generally, yes. And related to that, you have physician-dispensed drugs. These can cost anywhere from 60 to 300% more than getting them from a pharmacy.
300% more?
Potentially, yes. And there's a safety concern, too, because it bypasses the pharmacist's review.
Right, that double check.
Exactly. And finally, attorney involvement. Now, obviously, workers have a right to representation, but the data shows it does impact cost and duration. A 2024 WCRI study found it increased lost time days by 284% and other claim expenses by 200%, driving up complexity.
Okay, so we've got delayed treatment, comorbidities, mental health, out-of-network care, physician dispensing, attorney involvement. It's a lot. So for you listening, what does this all mean? Is this just an inevitable trend?
Well, complexity is rising, that's clear. but it's definitely not unmanageable. The good news is we're getting smarter about handling it.
How so? What's changing?
We're seeing better tools emerge, things like using advanced tech, like AI, for example, not just reacting, but actually identifying risks early.
How does AI help there?
Well, it can analyze huge amounts of data, injury details, patient history, early treatment patterns to flag claims that have a higher probability of becoming complex before they spiral out of control.
So predictive analytics, basically.
Exactly. And once a risk is flagged, swift clinical intervention becomes key, getting the right care, the right support to that worker quickly. And underpinning all of this is proactive patient engagement. Clear communication, empathy, making sure the worker understands the process and feels supported.
So it's not just about tweaking processes, it's about being more predictive and more, well, human-centric.
Precisely. These strategies aren't just about saving money, though they often do. They're fundamentally about getting better outcomes for the injured workers themselves, helping them heal faster, more completely, and get back to their lives.
So this deep dive into common exceptions really shows that while, yeah, some things like pre-existing conditions are hard to control directly, a lot of these drivers, like how fast we start treatment or how well we communicate, can be managed effectively. The shift towards these more complex, more expensive claims is definitely happening in workers' comp. But understanding why seems like the critical first step towards finding smarter, better solutions. And maybe here's a final thought for you to consider. We know things like social determinants of health, access to good food, safe housing, transport really impact overall well-being. And we're seeing the rise of incredibly expensive specialty drugs. Given all that, how might workers' compensation systems need to fundamentally rethink their whole approach to care in the years ahead? Is something to chew on.